So on November 11th, 1919, President Wilson made the Armistice Day in honor of the World War I armistice.
And then on June 1st of 1954, it was declared Veterans Day for every veteran, no matter what war.
Veterans Day was originated as Armistice Day on November 11th, 1919. It's the anniversary of World War I.
Veterans Day is to honor all the living and dead veterans of the United States and of the world, really. But it's mainly to honor the living veterans who served honorably in wartime.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriotry that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
My name is Erica Goodlett. I'm in 10th grade and I want to be in the Marine Corps.
Well, I'm Paul Harper. I've been thinking about joining the Marine Corps.
I'm Jacob Jones. I'm in the Army National Guard and I'm a senior.
My name is Dylan Ruffray. I'm a senior here at Bullitt East, and I'm planning on going to the Army after high school.
I want to go in the Marines because my brother, he was in the Army and he said he would be extremely proud if I went to any branch. And he said going into the Marines or the Army is something hard for a woman to do. He's one of my biggest inspirations for the military.
I got a lot of family, in the Marine Corps especially.
My brother, my uncle, all my grandparents, my cousins in the Air Force.
A couple family members were in it, and it's kind of like a stepping stone for furthering my career into the active duty side. It was my great uncle. He was in the National Guard for 20-something years, and then my grandpa was in the Marines in Vietnam.
Well, it's just what I've always wanted to do when I was a kid. My grandpa served in the Korean War. My dad was in during like the 90s. I've put the last 2 years of my life into thinking about enlisting and doing my research on what I want to do, and I kind of just want to stay there my whole life until I retire.
I'm going to start looking into that next year as I'll be a junior. You have to talk to your recruiters, you have to sign papers, you have to get your mentality to a very serious level where if something happens, you're not just going to break on the field, you're not going to break in front of somebody.
It was difficult at first. It's very much something to get used to because growing up, I really didn't get yelled at a lot, but first week, first 2 weeks, they come straight at you, and it's a lot. It's really like they're going all gas. There's nothing there to stop them, and then after a while, you get into a routine and used to it, and it just gets easier and easier as the days go. And it's kind of like I like to say it's like, people are gonna make fun of me for this, but it's like High School Musical, but you're getting yelled at because there's a lot of singing and a lot of bonding.
It's a good club if you're interested in the military.
I've been thinking about it since my little brother told me it's something you can do when I was 5. It's going to make me a pretty strong person, if I'm going to be honest.
After I retire from the military, I'm probably just going to come back and be a firefighter.
I've been thinking about MP, military police.
Either go into a trade school like welding or become like a history teacher. I'm already talking to a recruiter and I've already signed the papers and such to get in. I'm just waiting for the day to get in.
My name is Cameron Bernard. I was attached to the United States Navy. I was a petty officer, 3rd class. I joined after high school. One, had limited options because I goofed off. My entire family had been in the Navy, so when I was kind of back to the wall, I was like, you know what, this is probably a good idea. Made the family happy, and it gives me some positive avenues to take. I did 4 years. I served in Okinawa, Japan, South Korea, and Thailand. So the reason that we were actually sent to South Korea is back in, I believe it was 2013, it's been a while. North Korea was testing some of their long-range missiles, and one of the missiles they shot went over the island that I lived on. And so we got sent as part of like a quote-unquote multinational training operation, but we just kind of hung out for 3 months and just waited to see what would happen. I didn't think anything was going to happen. I was never really too worried about it, but it provided me with an opportunity to see another country. So I was pretty excited about that. So I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher ever since I was 15 years old in Miss Chandler's drama class here at Bullitt East. But like I said, I goofed out in high school, so I didn't really give myself the opportunity to chase those dreams. The military allowed me to correct that. So after I got out of the military, I automatically knew what I wanted to do. I was already enrolled in school, worked several jobs to make my way through school, and then was able to transfer fairly easy into teaching.
My name is Victor Snow. I was in the U.S. Army. I was a sergeant. At the time, I was a student at Marshall University, and I was kind of running low on money. This was back in 1994, and they had a student loan repayment program, and they had an Army unit close by to the school, and that's why I picked that unit and chose to enlist at that time. Well, I was in the Reserve and the National Guard, but I was on active duty also, so my combined time was 10 years, and at least about half of that was active duty. I was a combat engineer, which is a person that works as part of a team to, what they say, control battlefield mobility. So a lot of it was like managing demolitions and explosions. It was a lot of like field construction, you know, like how do you like figure out a way to, you know, get your troops from one place to another. So some of it was like building things, and some of it was like tearing things up. So I was good at both. So that was my experience. You know, like I first enlisted in 1994, and I got out in 2008. And it's something that stays with you. You know, it's like this idea about selfless service. You know, you see the country and you want to find ways to make it better. You know, it's all about, you know, caring about the person next to you and making sure that that you keep them safe, you know, that you protect them. In some of my deployments, you know, I've spent time in a lot of other countries, and you know, being in the military, and I experienced, you know, being around a lot of translators, and you know, that spoke my language, and I could talk to them about, you know, what life was like in their country, and you know, just seeing how terrible some of their lives had been, but also how positive and hardworking they continued to be. And I just kind of got this idea that, you know, education was the way to help people. Like I wanted to help them. A lot of them had asked me to help them come to America, but I wasn't able to help them do it because I didn't have, you know, any power or any money to help them. But I thought, you know, if I'm able to, you know, help people learn, you know, or maybe even get to go back to some of these places and do that, then that's what I wanted to do. And so that's what I did. I spent the majority of my time in Germany, but for deployments, you know, I've been to Iraq, I've been to Romania and Bulgaria. There, we were building these, what they call life support areas, these LSAs, where we would drop in striker brigades into the Middle East. I've been to Ukraine, so I had a little bit of a different experience, I guess. Like, you know, I still have guilt about it. I have a lot of friends that, you know, lost their lives, or, you know, lost parts of their body, or lost their mind, you know, from what they encountered in the military. You know, it's a big sacrifice. And, you know, part of me kind of still feels guilty, because one thing as a soldier that you're taught is that you don't quit. You always get your job done. And, you know, to see that, you know, in the time since I've gone, you know, I've lost probably more people to suicide that I knew, you know, that are veterans than I actually knew that got killed during the war. And that's a hard thing to deal with. You have to go into it with the right mindset. And a lot of people, a lot of young folks specifically, that they may say, well, I'm not such a good student, or I'm struggling. You can get the discipline out of the military that it would help you to be successful in life. But I used to tell my soldiers, if you would have done the same things in your civilian life that you have to do as a soldier every day, you would have been equally or more successful there than you are here. It's about punctuality, presentation, performance. I used to call it the 4 Ps, and the fourth one in the military was PT, which we don't have to do as civilians. But if you can basically show up on time and do your job and present yourself like as a professional person, that's something you learn how to do in the military. My wife is German. I met her when I was posted in Germany, so I'd say probably my favorite memory was meeting her. The big takeaway for me was truly this, that I see a lot of people in our country today that they feel like there's so many problems here, and it's not that we don't have our problems here, but the one thing I learned from being in the Army is that people all over the world are envious of being American. And I'm not saying everybody is everywhere, but being American means something. And that's something that I don't forget. I feel like this continuing sense of service to keep making my country better and making sure that when I leave this world, that I'm leaving it better than I found it. And a lot of people today don't have that type of mentality, and I know that got solidified for me by being a soldier.
Hi, my name is Neil Wayne Saylor. I was in the Army and I come out as a sergeant, E5. I was in 2 years. Well, actually, you got 6 commitment. I served 2 years active. I was drafted in 1966 and I come out in June of 1968. Had basic in Fort Benning, Georgia, AIT in Fort Polk, Louisiana. Then I went to Vietnam, served 5 months there and was wounded, and come back to Japan for a couple of months and then back to the States. Well, I was in the infantry in Nam and it was kind of rough. Well, you learn discipline, and I think all kids need that.
Well, good morning. My name is Donna Butler. I served in the United States Army as well as the United States Navy.
My name is Jason McGuire, Staff Sergeant, United States Marine Corps.
I joined the Navy immediately after high school in 1988. I did 4 years, transitioned to Navy Reserves, then transitioned to the United States Army in '92. So I was getting ready to go to college when I graduated, was accepted and everything. And because I changed my mind at the last minute, I went to whatever, you took the ASVAB test, and they accepted me first. So I went to the Navy. But my heart was never with the Navy. My heart was always with the Army. So after doing 4 years in the Navy, I realized that when I got out, did the Navy Reserves, I realized that I still wanted to go, the Army was still sitting there. And the only difference between the Army and the Navy was the Navy, you got to swim, the Army, you don't. The Navy didn't shoot at that time, the Army did. The Navy only ran 1.5 miles, the Army ran 2 miles. So I said, I'm gonna do it again. And so I did Army basic training, and that was my heart. And that's what I did. Well, the military was not my first pick. It was accepted into college. But at that time, when it was time to go to college, I just said it wasn't for me and I wanted to do something different. And so at the last minute, I said, I'm going to the military, and that's what I did.
Roughly 10 years. I had 6 years in the reserves, and I had 4 years on active duty. Mostly the challenge. I was in college at the time, and it sounded fun. It sounded exciting. Yeah, I think being in the military was something I always wanted to do. You know, I was in Air Force ROTC in high school, so I think it helped. It definitely gave me something at least to know what to be prepared for when I got into the Marine Corps.
So in the Navy, I was a radioman, which is a telecommunications specialist. In the Army, I was a human resource officer, so I did a lot of HR. I retired from the United States Army as a Chief Warrant Officer 3.
I was a tank crewman, so you start out like most tankers do, either in the loader spot or the driver spot. And I started out driving tanks, moved up to being a loader, and then I became a gunner on a tank, and then a tank commander. And when I got out, I was a platoon sergeant at 1st Tank Battalion. And so I was a tank commander, but I also had, an entire platoon. Yeah, we're very tight. There's only 4 people on a tank, and you're in a very small, confined area. You're doing everything for each other. It's a very close-knit family. I mean, it really is. The brotherhood, especially that we had, the Marine Corps is the smallest branch, and we were in a very small community, being in the tank community. You build a lot of very strong bonds very, very quickly. Other guys that I would be with and serve with for not even six months, and I felt like I knew them for 15 years. Still in contact with a lot of them. I've fallen off of social media, so I've lost some contact, but I still text a lot of guys back and forth, and I can pick up the phone and call them, and everybody's right there in a heartbeat. Deployed to Iraq 3 times. The first time in 2003 during the initial, referred to as initial push or the invasion. That was when I was in the reserves. We went all the way up to just south of Baghdad before we started our march back. That was an interesting experience. We were, not a whole lot of people that go on ships too. So when my company was mobilized, we went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, got on a ship there, and the tanks that we got, we'd never been on. Had no idea about these vehicles and these weapon systems because they were not ours from our unit. So we spent about 3 weeks getting over there. Went to Kuwait, spent about a month there in Kuwait before we crossed the line of departure and went into Iraq. So it was an interesting experience. I really enjoyed it. I liked being on the ship. It was fun. But then we got to get on the ship back. About a month back to get back to Camp Lejeune. My next 2 deployments were 1st Tank Battalion. I was still on the tank the second one. 7-month tour in Iraq outside of Al-Assad and the areas around there. A lot of support missions, a lot of IEDs. It was daily or multiple times daily. Somebody would get hit by IEDs out there in the area we were operating, what we call the AO, the area of operation. 3rd deployment, the Marine Corps decided they didn't need people on tanks at that point in time, and they put us on, we became what's called a provisional rifle company. So our tankers, now we are going to be put on trucks, and we're going to act almost as an infantry unit. And we did a lot of route security for people. It was had a lot more interaction, a lot more engaging with that deployment versus the other deployments. You can imagine being on a tank, you're kind of away from everybody, but if you can be put in a Humvee, now you're on foot and now you're mobile and you can get out and talk to people. A lot more rewarding a lot of ways because of the interaction. But yeah, I did those 3 deployments. And
what I take away, I think out of my entire 23 years in military, is being deployed and the small essence of being able to take a bath in my own home versus sharing community bathrooms. I don't think that being in the military changed my views as being an American. Being in the military changed my views as in how blessed we are in the United States compared to other areas around the world. Compared to now, when I first went in the military, women couldn't do like earrings, diamond studs, but now they have transitioned and they can do diamond studs. As far as career, a lot of women couldn't go into field artillery, but now they can. They couldn't be rangers, now they can. So each year it's been transitioning to something more. My advice to anyone considering joining the military is, if you even consider freshman year, there's a wide range. Talk to recruiters now. Take a person with you that has been in the military, because recruiters have numbers. They have numbers to meet. And recruiters will lie. They will tell you, oh, you're going to be this, you're going to be this. That's a lie. They will tell you what they want to tell you to get you in, because at that point in time, you are a number. So yes, my advice is talk to different branches, see what they offer, take some college courses before you even possibly go in, because you can go in and at a higher rank. But again, take somebody with you when you talk to those recruiters that certain branch, because they know what they're speaking. If they tell you one job, they could say HR, they could say, oh, that's a male person, but no, it's not. So yeah, that's my advice.
I think it was the camaraderie. Obviously, the service to the country was good, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't without sacrifice. It wasn't without rough times and hard experiences, but it was absolutely worth it. You think of when you're in service, or something you don't think of when you're in service, it's you set politics aside and you realize that the people I'm out there fighting for are, in my case, was my tank crew, my tank platoon, my company, the Marines to the left and the right. That's who we're out there fighting for. Politics and the mission go away. Or the politics goes away and the mission, is what you focus on. If you're thinking about it, it's definitely something you need to think long and hard about. But I would never discourage anybody from joining. It's a great experience. This is something I remember the recruiter said. Look, I said if you don't like it, it's only 4 years of your life. It's not everything, and 4 years may sound like a lot now, but looking back, it was a blink of an eye. It's not something, joining the military is not something you're probably going to do when you're 35. It's not going to be something that you do when you're 30. So get out there, do it when you're young. It's an incredible experience. It definitely has its struggles. It's in a lot of ways, especially on active duty, being on a military base is, for the most part, fairly neat and orderly, and there's schedules, and everybody has rotations, and their life operates at a certain level, and everybody understands everything. In the civilian world, it's not like that. It's a lot more hustle and bustle and kind of craziness on the civilian side, and everybody's kind of doing their own thing. On the military side, it's a lot more structured. I enjoyed it. It's something not to stress about. Currently a homicide detective with Louisville Metro Police Department. I've been here for about 5 years, and to me it's an extension of my service. The community is never going to not need people to serve it. I feel that in a lot of ways I've got to serve it hard, and I want to continue that. I don't want to stand on the sidelines and watch the world go by.
I'm Caitlin Powers, and my dad, Scott Powers, served in the U.S. Army from 1996 to 2000 and in the U.S. Air Force from 2000 to 2020.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Gorder. My grandpa, Rick Gorder, served in the Marines for 15 years.
Hi, my name is Clive Cornell, and my grandpa served in the Air Force for 16 years.
My name is Megan Grasmick, and I want to thank my mom, my grandpa, and my great-grandpa for all serving in the military.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Vaughn. My grandpa served 10 years in the Air Force and 8 years in the Army.
Hi, my name is Macy Gray. My dad is Ian Gray. He served in the Army for 10 years.
My name is Paul Harper. I'm a junior Bullitt. This is my great-great-grandpa. His name was Huey. He served in the Korean War and was a tank commander.
Hi, my name is Bailey Trent. My stepbrother is Evan Spurgeon. He's in the Marine Corps. He's been serving for 2 years.
Hi, my name's Allison Wyatt. My papa served in the military for 10 years.
Hi, my name's Sophie Wilson. My grandpa and my uncle both served in the Navy. My grandpa served for 4 years and my uncle served for 5.
Hi, my name is Ava Smith. My dad served in the U.S. Army for 3 years and he was also in the National Guard. My grandpa, Charles Smith, he served for 10 years in the U.S. Army and he was in the Marine for 11 years.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth and my cousin Melissa serves in the Army.
Hi, my name is Zoe Sherlock. My great-grandpa Dallas Catron served as a Marine.
Hi, my name is Addison McGuire. My dad, Jason McGuire, served in the Marine Corps for 11 years.
My name is Erica Goodlett, and this is my brother, Seth. He served in the Army for 8 years in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Thank you, Mom.
My name is Katie Parks, and my grandfather, Walter Parks, served in the Army, and so did my papa, Clifton Weekly. My uncle, David Gruber, was in the Marines, and my cousin, Jason Jones, my second cousin actually, was in the Marines too.
Hi, my name's Cypher Lampkin. My dad served in the U.S. Army as a combat medic for 4 years, I believe, and he served in Sadr City, Iraq. He actually got a Silver Star and a Bronze Star for his service.
Hi, my name is Madison Thornberry, and my grandpa served in the Army for 2 years. Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank him very much.
I would like to thank them both.
Thank you, Honor Harris, for serving in the Navy for 8 years.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you for your service.
I just want to say thank you, Bubba, for your service.
I would like to thank my grandpa, my papa, my uncle, and my cousin for serving in the Army. I salute you to this day.
He was a great man, and I really appreciate what he did. Thank you, Dad.
Thank you for your service.